You are now listening to the Lasting Legacy Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We have another episode of the Lasting Legacy Podcast. Please like this video before you continue watching it. Today, we have a very special guest. We have IFBB Pro Jordan Tripp, owner of Tripp Fit Training. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
We did it at the same time. I'm David. I own David Took It Fitness, which is how we met. But David took it videography, photography for everything else. I usually ask the questions. Me and Jordan go back a little bit, like within the last year and a half or so. It's been a wild ride. So I'm excited for your story to be put on our podcast and really focus on the business side of what you do day in and day out.
Dope, man.
Yeah, so start off, well, just tell us a little bit about yourself for the people who don't know who you are.
Sure. I'm a father, husband. I am a professional bodybuilder. And like you said, I'm the owner and sole operator of Tripp Fit Training, personal training. Yeah, you name it. I'm an athlete, I guess you can say, a creator, entrepreneur, free thinker, you name it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, that pretty much puts it under the umbrella for sure.
More titles than me.
Yeah.
More than a bodybuilder, there you go.
No, most definitely.
That's big. There you go.
That's what I want to show people, today. That is my goal personally for the podcast, is to show that you're more than a bodybuilder and show the business side of what you do,
No doubt.
and what you do very well, I might say. So tell us, kind of what your early life looked like.
So I'm from Pueblo, Colorado, obviously, born and raised. I ventured out a couple different times, but like I said before, I've always made my way back to Pueblo. Always into sports, always. My older brother was basketball, football, track, I mean, you name it. So naturally, I kind of fell right into what he did. Football was my first love. I love football to this day, honestly, what it does for you, what it teaches you. But I was always doing something physical, right? I mean, whether that was in sports or fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Fighting's like a sport.
Right. Well, growing up in Pueblo, obviously, you better know how to fight, right? But, yeah, I mean, I was always doing something in sports, no matter what it was, like always having a ball in our hand.
Mm-hmm.
All of my friends were athletes. And so we're pretty good athletes too. So we were always, competition no matter what.
Always.
Yeah, always. And obviously, having an older brother and growing up in a house of just boys, it's competition no matter what. You know. So at the dinner table,
who can eat faster?
Yeah, exactly. One console in your house, so we're fighting over that. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
We all wore the same exact size clothes and shoes, so we're fighting over that. You know what I mean? So it's like that was just something in me, always competing, doing stuff like that. So I think it helped me growing up into what I am now, and just always being, I mean, I guess you could say on your toes.
Absolutely.
Ready to compete. I mean, being an athlete, obviously, and then making it to like the college level. That's just something that was in me. So being an athlete is I guess I could say I'll be that till the day I die.
Yeah, absolutely.
What'd you play in college?
I play football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Out here? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, that's an interesting story about my college career. I actually went out to San Diego right out of high school, and I went to a junior college called San Diego Mesa. And coming out of high school, even if you had the chance to play anywhere, you thought you were going to make it to the NFL. Mm-hmm. So my aspirations were to try to transfer to, UCLA, San Diego State, whatever. The highest of the. It's
like
highest.
a D1 somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought it was D1 caliber at least, and then San Diego didn't have actual dorms for out-of-state students. And so it just so happened that my brother lived in San Diego. He was in the Navy, and his wife was actually a local of San Diego. And so it was kind of cool. I moved right in to with them. My brother was still in the Navy, but he was actually dealing with cancer at the time. And so it kind of helped. It kind of worked out because he actually had an apartment, extra room. So I moved in with them straight out of high school, senior year. Long story short, my brother ended up passing away. I came back second semester of my freshman year, and then I enrolled into PCC. From PCC, I went to Adams State. I went to Adams State for 2 years. Our head coach at Adams State actually got fired, and he was coming to CSUP. This is crazy. He was coming to CSUP, and that was when CSUP was just opening up in 08, or not opening up, but bringing football back to the program. And so, I mean, I actually stayed out there in Adams State because I mean, I'm a type of dude, like, I'm loyal to a fault, you know. So I wanted to stay at Adams State, prove the people wrong, you know what I mean? Whatever I could do. Actually, just stay there. I mean, I liked Adams State. You know, the school was really cool. The town wasn't that great, but the school was awesome.
It's out in Alamosa?
Yeah, in Alamosa.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, in the middle of nowhere, pretty much.
Middle of nowhere, yeah. So, I mean, it was easy, though. You focused. I mean, there was like 2 or 3 clubs, you know, so it wasn't much that you can get into trouble with. But, I mean, we're football players, so we got into trouble.
Still found it.
Exactly, of course. But from there, I stayed that last semester, the spring semester, and the coach that was there, he actually cut our scholarships.
Oh, shit.
And so it kind of made the decision easy for me. I just
had no choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you cut my scholarship. I mean, that comes with room and board. That comes with food. And so
it's nice here, but it's not that nice to pay for it.
Exactly. And that was devastating, man. I called my mom, and mom was like, come home, you know, like, and that, like, you hear that, come home, you're like, shit. I'm 21. I was 21, 22
like,
at the time. It's like, yeah, it's like,
I'm losing all my freedom.
Exactly. I was like, come home.
What's my curfew, mom?
Exactly. Right. So I mean, I did. I came home and went to CSUP 08. That didn't actually pan out how I wanted to. I mean, naturally, I thought I was the best, and I thought I was pretty good. But I would say at the time, football put a bad taste in my mouth. So, I mean, when that left, no more football was in my life. It was kind of easy to transition out of that, even though I felt like I had something that I still needed to accomplish in football. Not having football and being able to, like, do something with your athletic ability, it pissed me off, really, to be completely honest. Like, I had a lot more football left in me, and I felt like I didn't have that opportunity to do that. Well, now, looking back, understanding, like, football in college is a business, right? And so I'm not going to blame any situation. I think I learned from that. Again, it was my first love, and I think I needed to have a bad taste in my mouth with football to be able to transition to what was next for me, right? And that was actually my son was being born. You know, I found out that my girlfriend, who's my wife now, was pregnant with my son, and so it was actually okay for football to be in transition to fatherhood because I had to grow up essentially. So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
If this was what we were.
No,
No, you're good.
So
No,
that's how I made it.
That's
to
perfect.
CSUP,
Yeah.
Because it's just a couple things that happened that put me in this position. So
That was the first thing you said when you said who you are. The first thing you said was a father. You know what I mean? So for sure, that's definitely it's something super important to me too. It's like not my number one job title is father. Also,
100%.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to explain it until you have that kid. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, you know, looking back on it, like in your situation, like football was probably like your number one love.
Right.
So it's probably super helpful to
replace
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
You're like, football was football. Like,
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah.
holding that little baby. So
Exactly. I mean, I was terrified. Don't
Yeah,
get me
no.
wrong. I think when my wife told me she was pregnant, I was like, "Oh, so what are we gonna do?"
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. She was like, "What do you mean? What are we gonna do? What am I gonna do?" You know, it's like, yeah, you're right.
Dang.
So I mean, yeah, that was a definite like, you better shit or get off the pop type situation, right? Like, you got to figure it out.
So you you go to CSU Pueblo, you find out you're playing football, you find out that your wife is pregnant with your first son. Now what happens? Now you have to support the family.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
like anything. I started looking for jobs. We started looking for jobs. Started looking for a place to stay. I'm trying to think if I want to get into this, but anyway, so my brother, my wife's brother passed away a week before we found out that she was pregnant.
That's crazy.
And so this was a really weird time for me, at least. And I've never really got into the story, but my brother passed away at 23. Her brother passed away at 23, and I was getting ready to turn 23 when I was having my kid. And so, and then on top of that, my number in high school was 32. So I mean, if you're a numbers person, you think like that. And I didn't really understand what that meant. Honestly, I just thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
To be
You're like, I got a year left. Yeah.
Yeah. And really, and at that time too, like the bar scenes and the clubs and shit were really popping. So, and that's what I did naturally. Leading up to the time that he was gonna get born, I was just like, I'm partying. I'm gonna get all. I kept on thinking like, damn, I'm gonna be a dad. Like, you know,
I'm gonna be able to leave the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kept on feeling like my youth was slipping from me. And so I was like, I got to get all this shit out of me. You know, I got to party, could do all this stuff. And I think it was like someone asked me to play flag football or something. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll play. Like, I'm going to do it. And I was out of shape. It was terrible.
It's hurting, yeah.
Hurting. On top of that, I had a physical that I was supposed to be doing. And so I went and took the physical. And long story short, I had high blood pressure. And from there, I was like, I got to do something, man. Like, that was kind of eye-opener for me, slap in the face, obviously, and then that's when I started bodybuilding and then got into more of the stuff that I'm doing now. But that transition there for me, I guess what was next, I partied. Honestly.
All right. Not very profitable.
At all. I mean, I was trying to figure it out. I had a lot of time on my hands, especially leading up to that time. I think we found out she was pregnant like at 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. So
you had some time to spare.
Exactly. I had time to fuck up. You know what I mean? But I got it out of me.
So where does personal training come along in this storyline?
And so after that, when I told you I needed to try to figure something out, I started to just work out. You know what I mean? And I needed to lose weight, and with that, I studied. Like, what do I need to do? I studied exercise science in school, and so I knew generally how to work out. I've been working out all my life, but it was no rhyme or reason. I just did it, right? Like, you need to do it for sports. You did it as a hangout situation or whatever. But I really got interested in what I needed to do for myself. And from there, I think the love of just being in the gym naturally like transition, and then obviously, you know, you're getting bigger, people see that, or, you know, you're
getting noticed more.
You're getting noticed more, and so people are asking.
Usually by dudes.
Exactly. And so they're asking you, well, what do you do, or what are you doing? What are you taking? Like, that's the best thing. That's everybody's favorite thing to ask is, what are you taking? But so then I just said, yeah, come work out with me, and then people started to see changes, and I mean, they liked at least what I was doing when I was helping them. And I did it, personal training, I guess you could say, without a title, for like 5 years. You know, I would help certain people.
So it starts off like the homie hookup, and then you're like, yo, you know, flip me, you know, whatever it is, like $10 a session, or buy my food.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
honestly, I was just doing it for
catch
free.
me a shake after.
Like buy me lunch or something. But I wanted to see if I actually knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? So it was working for me. And so I learned more. YouTube was just popping off. So I was always on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Picking certain people's ears at the gym, the biggest guy or whoever. And then, it wasn't until about, I think my son was 3 or 4 before I actually started to say that I was a personal trainer or whatever, put myself out there. And still, even then, it wasn't on social media. It was just kind of hearsay. People knew it. Yeah. At this time, I was working out constantly, like that working out and going to the gym and like paying attention to my health took that place, obviously, from like partying and doing stupid shit to like now actually thinking that I could do something, right? Like getting in shape. So the initial push was just to get back in shape for me and to be around for my son. Yeah. Right. So.
No, that makes sense. So what did that transition look like from, you know, your 9 to 5 to when you took personal training on full time? Like, how did you know, like, yeah, this is it? You know, like, I don't need the 9 to 5. I can do this.
I didn't know, to be completely honest. I was terrified at that point too. So to speed things up, I mean, I went through tons of jobs, man. Like, I mean, I worked in the mall. I wiped ass. I worked in a prison. And it wasn't until my training partner, Brad Helm, at the time, and he was probably just tired of me complaining about working in the prison. And then he was the boss at this at the mill. Harsco is the job. They're contract company that works at the mill. And so he's like, man, you know, I got a job opening if you want to come. He's like, I just need someone that's reliable. And honestly, I don't even know why I said yes.
Yeah.
You
like to dress up, you know, you're a fashion guy.
Exactly.
I'm going to go work in the mill, you know.
Well, honestly, I didn't even know how dirty and nasty it was out there.
I mean, you weren't dressing up too much to go to prison, though, either. Were you?
No, I mean, at least I had a uniform, but
that's true.
I shined the badge a little bit. Stand out a little bit more than everybody else.
Fill out the sleeves more than anybody else, for sure.
But, so, I mean, he offered me that job, and I just took it, man. And at that time, Antoine, who's in town, he was actually opening up a gym, and it wasn't personal training that I was actually going to do. We actually came up with a supplement company called Performance Plus, and that was something that I wanted to do just to kind of transition out of, you know, the regular 9 to 5.
Yeah,
just do something. You know, I didn't understand how hard that would be to actually
launch a supplement company.
Yeah.
It sounds impossible from
I wouldn't even,
that's crazy.
Like, where do you buy the powder for protein? And then, like, where do you buy the vanilla, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, we were gonna actually just be a store, right? Like,
okay. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Because this is the time like I said,
there's really nobody in town who's doing that at that time, right? Or
well,
is there one?
Nutritional fuel. I mean, they've always been a staple.
Okay.
At this time, they've probably been around for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but where we were at, I was like, well, there's enough for all of us to eat, right? Like,
Absolutely.
You're on the south side. I mean, Pueblo's already that place where people are complaining about driving 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
You live on the west side, man.
Exactly.
I can't do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So we were all the way in Eagle Ridge.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, this could be perfect. I mean, it did really well. I think we were open for about a year. It's just you know, marketing came into it and all this different stuff,
mm-hmm.
and then on top of it, I was trying to work the job at the steel mill and then personal train at the same time.
So you're juggling 3.
I was juggling 3 jobs. The reason why I actually took this job at the steel mill is because I worked from 4 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Yeah, so
that sounds terrible. Yeah,
I was just actually talking about this with Isaiah at the gym. I mean, I would get up at like 2:00 in the morning so I can go get a workout in before my shift at 4 a.m. and then I would go home after my shift 12:30, sleep for about an hour or so, 2 hours maybe, get something to eat, and then I'll have my first client at 3:30.
That's crazy.
And it's a funny thing too. So I felt bad, man. Me and Brad trained together for about 4 or 5 years, you know, solid. I think we probably missed 4 or 5 days
mm-hmm.
out of that 4 or 5 years.
He's a hardcore dude.
Hardcore, you know what I mean?
IFBB Pro as well.
Exactly.
Like, stage ready anytime.
All the time. Yeah. And I learned a lot from it. Honestly, I owe a lot to Brad for where I'm at now because he's one of my mentors, but he taught me a lot. I mean, especially when it came to like just the basics of bodybuilding. He's actually the first person that came to me and said, I would say the second person actually, Bodies by T, told me that I could go pro early on, but he came to me and said, I think you could really do something. And he was that guy. You know what I mean? Brad.
Yeah.
If
I'm sure, yeah.
Exactly. He's still to this day, if he speaks, you listen, you know? So he told me, I think you have an opportunity to go pro. And he's like, I want to help you out. And so, I was like, bet, let's do it. You know, like that's
whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, to get back to that, I would meet Brad in between some of my clients. So we would go work out, and then I would
the second time in that day.
Right, and then I would go work out with him, and then I would come back and train clients from 6 to 8 or 9, whatever. You know what I mean? So
did you find that productive or counterproductive to muscle development? Actually, would you tell your clients to work out twice a day like that?
If you're limited on time and you need to split it up, sure. If you don't have sleep, no.
That's what I was
going to say. Damn,
yeah, you're missing something. So there's like the gym is a very small portion of, you know, building what you want or losing what you don't want.
Right.
You know, and I don't think a lot of people understand that you know, it's nutrition, sleep, and the other 23 hours when you're not at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
is-
See, I thought it was just hop on the treadmill for like 4 hours a day, right? Or
Yeah, you know a lot of other people. Come see me. Yeah,
if you just hop on the treadmill once a day, come see Jordan.
Stair
Well,
stepper.
I mean, honestly, it's better. It's better than nothing.
That's true.
Guaranteed,
That's
yeah.
true. 100%. Yep.
You should obviously be doing something, exercising somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that saying is saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's very true.
And you lose it way faster than you gained it.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
And then trying to recover, it's damn near impossible. So. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What were some of those early struggles looking like? I mean, obviously you talked about, you know, your time and time management, and what on the business side of things, you know, like we all know you're in a service industry, and anybody else who's listening who's in a service industry has, you know, had the worst of the worst clients, but they always have that one client that, you know, makes everything worth it. But, you know, did you ever have any struggles, you know, with clients at that time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I still struggle trying to figure it out, to be completely honest. But I've learned overall the bad decisions that I've made. But yeah, I struggled earlier on. I mean, I was like charging as low as $15 a session.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that was a mistake earlier on. And I think the reason why I did that is because I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
You know, it's
your
just-
worth.
Exactly, and well, that in personal training is really interesting, because if the person doesn't listen to you, then you can't really actually show your resume, right?
Absolutely.
And you're only with them for what, an hour?
Right, maybe
And
maybe
there's
3 times a week.
23 hours a day, so
Exactly.
it's a lot of time to fuck up.
Right.
But
Right. Well, and then on top of that too,
Yeah.
it's like I think I'm learning this still to this day, because I feel like you don't have, as a coach, me being their client, you don't have to worry about me, right? You're gonna give me whatever it is that you give me, and I'll fulfill that. I'll come back to you, but I'm not gonna ask any questions. You know what I mean? Like, I paid you to push me in the right direction, so that's just what I'm gonna do. And so I think other people are like that as well. But when you get into personal training, it's like they expect you to, you know, to motivate them. They expect you to give you the workout. They expect you to, I mean, pretty much do everything. I mean, I use this all the time. Like, a lot of times people think paying a personal trainer is like paying a light bill. All of a sudden, boom, you know, their transformation comes on. But it's like, no, you have to work.
Yeah,
I
I gave you the tools, you know, and
Right.
the knowledge to get you to that next checkpoint.
Right, and I'm still, like I said, trying to learn that I need to provide more, right? And so, like, a lot of my clients that have been with me for a long time are like, well, yo, what's going on with this new Jordan? You know what I mean? Because I'm actually trying to evolve into, you know, helping them more better, but not actually doing it for them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want them to be able to understand what they're doing. On top of that, see transformations, but giving them, I mean, putting it in their mind at least to understand like what the benefits are and
Yeah.
why you should do this outside of just meeting with me. If that makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I mean, those are the more of the lessons that I've learned earlier on. I mean, the money side is one thing. I mean, I think I've built up a good enough resume to be able to charge what I charge and feel confident about that.
Absolutely.
But earlier on, I mean, like I said, I think with the reputation comes higher caliber people. I guess you can say. I mean, take that however you want to.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
it's real. Like,
Yeah.
I
If Brad was charging what H&R Block charged, you know, like he's going to get H&R Block clients, you know, but he
Right.
charges what he charges now to get those higher, you know, clients,
Right.
you know, and same thing for me on my end, you know, the more famous people I shoot, the higher the rate goes, because my experience and how much knowledge I have
Right.
and my credibility goes up. And I
Right.
think
I think-
that's huge.
I think that's how like the free market works. The new people come in, and for my experience, a lot of the new people go after quantity more than quality, kind of. And as you grow and get more confident in whatever you're doing, like you start weeding out the quantity to
Right.
get those quality people.
that was exactly me.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, especially when you're first starting up a business and people's monthly payments are very viable, right? Like that's everything.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not doing anything else. And so I would go home and be like, okay, if I get 15 clients at $100, that's $1,500 a month. You know what I mean? Or if I get 20 at 50, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and then you start like, shit, that's not that hard. I can take on 50 and, you know, never see my family, never have any type of, I mean, I got a life now, but I never have a life and, you know, and just bust my ass.
You cap the amount of clients you have now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean.
You have to.
You have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
I mean, I'm there all damn day, all the time anyway, but
Exactly.
I have a hard time saying no.
It's tough. You know,
It is.
like, you know, your clients do not ever become, you know, like a dollar sign, but in the back of your head, you're like, oh man, you know, like this person's pretty motivated, you know, 3 times a week, you know, like, man, that's like 150, 300, that's an extra 600.
Exactly.
And I'm already here, you know, like, do I change the time that I work out, you know,
Right.
you know, or when I'm eating?
And so, yeah, that's when you said, because now I'm understanding this business a lot more, and you don't make any money with the people that you're seeing every day, right? Like the money comes outside of it, and if I'm meeting with one person 3 times a week, then there's really no room to be able to get more or do other things if this one person is taking up my time 3 hours out of the week, you know? So, I mean, growing with having more clients, so that's when you start doing like group sessions and, you know what
Stacking,
I mean? And stacking and doing the most you can to maximize your dollar in that hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
No, that makes sense.
And so I learned that over time, you know. I would always say, like, I'm a one-on-one trainer, and I am. That's what I want to do. I think I'm best in that setting. I will take on up to 4 clients. I mean,
I was going to say, we've shot videos of you doing, you know, literally putting a group of 4 girls through a leg day at like 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning. It was crazy. I don't know.
And you woke up to get there?
I didn't go to sleep.
On time?
Yeah, I
That
stood
makes
up
sense.
Yeah, I
in
know.
order to do that.
You let me know too.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah. So you transition, but I think that comes with studying too. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, I got notebooks full of just workouts, right? And meal
I've seen you
plans
do some very unorthodox workouts. Like, I would have never thought to do things in the way that you do.
Well,
you
and
know,
I've learned that from, you know,
just being there.
being there and then starting in, you know, at a gym that was just starting up from the ground up.
Absolutely.
You know, you got bands and balls and a couple different dumbbells, and so you
Yeah.
better use your mind to
Get pretty creative.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And that was, I needed that. You know what I mean? Because right as soon as I quit the steel mill and I decided to do this full time, first month I got 20 clients and that was just
Right out the gate.
Right
Yeah.
out the gate. That was me. You know, my energy putting out to the world and saying, like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do anything. I didn't market myself. I didn't nothing. It was just like, hey, I heard your personal training. I need this, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of, like, people that were getting ready for weddings or, you know, girls that just, you know, are just had a baby or whatever it was, general, like, weight loss clients, no athletes at all. And I made it work. You know what I mean? There was 20 people, and I was like, I didn't question it. I was just like, bam, let's go. And so I had to figure out how to, you know, individually train all those different peoples with nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so now, like, having that base and then being in Achieve where I'm at now just has more than enough.
That's way more than enough.
Exactly.
And growing,
right,
you know.
and it's easy. It's easy to be able to
So
train these people.
So what kind of athletes are you working with? Is it mostly bodybuilders or just different kind of sports and stuff like that?
Yeah,
or?
mainly everybody that I work with in town are bodybuilders.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with high school athletes. I've worked with like a cyclist.
Kind of like
boxer.
like a strength and conditioning coach kind of thing,
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Cool.
Putting together some type of program that will help them in whatever field that they're in. But
He's very flexible with what he does. You know, like, you know, in the morning it could be, you know, a client that, you know, is recovering from an injury, and right after that could be a bodybuilder, and then right after that it's, you know, a high school kid who's looking to, you know, just get on the varsity team, you know, for his sport. It's so crazy, you know. And then after that it's just some older lady, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like,
Silver sneakers.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. She checks in with her silver sneakers and
Right.
you know, does her thing. You know, it's a very versatile group that he's able to, you know, kind of help and mold.
Right. And I actually have a girl that's, you know, she was in a car accident, a very bad car accident. And, she wasn't walking for a while. She came and saw me in a walker, and now she's actually walking on her own.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I didn't advertise myself for that. And I think, honestly, let's just be completely honest. Like, if I'm not in that realm to be able to train you, I'm at least want to take a stab at it. And if these people are at least agreeing with what I have that I can set out for them and help them out, you're going to see some type of changes because of that. You know, you just got to be able to believe in what the program and be able to know that you're going to be better than what you were when you came in. And I mean, honestly, that's my philosophy. It's like I want to be able to make sure that these people are better than what they were when they came into the door. And so I think if you do that, then you can't lose at any point. And so I mean, I have no business helping this girl that's in a walker to try to help her walk again. But I mean, she believes in it. She's 21 years old. I'm like, you're not going to be in that walker for the rest of your life.
No.
Right? And so we
fold
agree.
that thing up. You don't need it,
So, I mean, with that, I mean, a lot of it's your mindset more than it is like having to go to the drawing board and in textbook and stuff. It's like, let's just
the mindset of the others around you in your circle too,
Right. I mean, I right now, like the clients that I have, man, like I couldn't ask for better group of people. Like you're gonna weed yourself out of this situation if you don't fit it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think we're kind of creating a culture, I guess you can say. And,
most definitely.
And so, I mean, it's good. Like I'll complain about being at the gym forever, but I mean, I got nothing to complain about.
Absolutely. Now, circling back, you had mentioned about learning more about the business and how, there's money outside of the gym. You know what I mean? So can you tell us how TrippFit Clothing came about?
Yeah. I mean, I had a powerlifting client that was getting ready to go do her first powerlifting meet, and we didn't have anything to represent. And so I had a logo made just because I opened up myself as a business. So I didn't ever really even imagine to start like making apparel and stuff, but we needed something, so I just put it out there. It was simple. It was a black and blue shirt. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I think I got my first bodybuilding client. And then so it just kind of went from there, I got
representing at the shows and at the events.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And then, they wore it to the gym or, wherever. Mm-hmm. And people were like, yeah, man, I like that. What is that? Blah, blah. And then it just grew from there. I mean, honestly, I would say it probably grew more at Achieve. And I'll just be completely honest, my face is on the damn every wall, right? And so people
let's be honest, your naked body is in the men's bathroom. Exactly. Like you can't escape Jordan's face in that place.
Shout out to Jim.
You went crazy with them 5x8s or 8x10s, 8x10 photos.
Right, I mean, I'll take it, whatever.
Yeah.
but I know I'm getting that attention because of that, right? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, yes, I won the national championship. Yeah, I'm there all day long, but seeing when I'm not there, being able to see who I am and asking mm-hmm. questions about whatever, like naturally people wanted some stuff to represent.
Yeah, I'm sure to support you,
to support me, exactly. And honestly, like the support that I've gotten, it even just in that gym has been great, man. Like it taken me back to where now I want to do more mm-hmm. like apparel and stuff, because I mean it feels good, but also like this is not my brand, bro. Like I want it to be a movement, if you will. Mm-hmm. Like I want it to be something that, like, when you hear of Pueblo, you hear of you think of green chili. Like I want you to think of Tripp Fit.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, so I mean it's turned into something more than just a t-shirt to mm-hmm. put on before you go warm up t-shirt or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to push it into this. I always say, like, better people than me have failed at the fashion realm, but I do love the fact that, like, more and more people are wearing it around town. Mm-hmm. I've gotten people that have came up to me and been like, man, I saw your hoodie or mm-hmm. this and that at a soccer game or whatever.
It's crazy. It's everywhere, literally. Like,
and so that's dope, man. I appreciate that support, and so that makes me want to do it more. I am, like, I've never really said it out loud. I guess you could just see from my appearance, I enjoy fashion a lot, mm-hmm. but I like to let other people do their job, and I'll be the model. So now there's a little bit of pressure into like doing this.
The drops,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to miss. You know what I mean?
No, of course. Then you're stuck with a bunch of smalls. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so it's been good. The response from putting my stuff out there has mm-hmm. been great. So I don't know. I say I'm not going to push it as much, but who knows? Like,
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's one of the most enjoyable parts of what you do outside of personal training, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. If I had more time, I think I probably would put a little bit more effort into, like, having quarterly drops and doing mm-hmm. stuff like that. But I mean, I'm just selling at the trunk.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of like that aspect of it.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
It's kind of where it starts all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cool. It gives people a way to, like, support you without having to be like a client of yours or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'd much rather wear your hoodie than go through your leg day.
Exactly. And
I
that
like
too-
what you're doing, but I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
Well, I get that response too on like online and stuff. They're like, "Oh man, I got to get into shape before I wear that." It's like, nah, bro. Like,
No, my dad wears it.
exactly. But no one thinks about that when they're gonna go buy Jordans.
No, of
It's like,
course.
damn, I gotta stop
Everybody-
dribbling.
Everybody thinks they're balling. Who buys Jordans
My
anyway?
jumper
you know?
is not clean enough for
Right.
these shoes.
Yeah.
But you put them damn brand new ones on, you're like, shit.
I can do anything.
Yeah. Like, remember I had hoop dreams? It's like, nah, bro.
You start lucid dreaming.
Right. And so yeah, that's how I want it to. I mean, I don't want to overshoot my shot, but I want people to.
I mean,
be able
but
to
at
feel
this
that.
point, you've reached every goal you've ever set. Why not you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
Like-
Flagner Field's huge, and they started selling their stuff at like swap meets and at like car shows of all
Right.
places. You know what I mean?
The most
So,
opposite place where you'd find fitness people.
right.
so
and
it's more about like your personal brand. Just slap your logo on it.
Right.
I feel like nobody really talks about this, and I know we've never talked about it on the podcast, but early on I heard something that was like, people are more apt to buy into a brand. You know what I mean? I think Logic actually said it. He's like, you build a brand and then people are willing to invest in that brand versus like investing in an individual. I'd rather invest in Tripp Fit, versus like, investing in like if you had something that said Jordan Tripp on it,
Right.
People might not invest in that,
Yeah.
know. So that's what I do with my stuff. I was inspired by the Sean John logo with my logo,
Right.
and that early 2000s look, and I feel like that's helped me, build the brand and build a look.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Something bigger than me.
Yeah, you see, that's me too. Like obviously I'm a big fan of Nike, and so I mean I draw a lot of my ideas from Nike. But I'm also like we talked about this before. I think we even have a video. Like I'm a big fan of like classic anything, right? Like so. I mean, I get some ideas from like Coca-Cola and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Timeless.
Right. So something that's gonna last forever, right? So like even like the red that's on the sleeve there, it's like, well, that doesn't match. It's like, yeah, red so
Accents.
yeah, exactly. People, you see it like all the time. It's a bold
power,
color. It's
yeah.
power, exactly. So
You see,
sticks out.
It sticks out.
Brembo uses red for their brake calipers,
Exactly,
on their high end
right.
cars, unless you paint them. But yeah,
right. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm not Kanye West or anything like that, but I love like fashion, and so I mean, what's better? First of all, it sucks to go and try to find shit that fits a bodybuilder, right? Like my proportions are all crazy and shit. So
this dude wears sweats all the time.
well, I do, but I also don't want to wear like big out of
Baggy.
style
Yeah.
shit either, too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Go and get like some dress slacks or something. They're probably tight as hell, and then
They
like
are.
big at the bottom or something.
all the
Absolutely,
time.
yeah.
Every time that I go in and try a shop and stuff. So now like finding stuff that actually fits me, because I'm not gonna lie, like I want to be able to wear this every day. So the stuff that I'm putting out is the stuff that I like to wear.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I mean that's
And you do wear it every day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The hats,
My
the
uniform,
hoodies.
right.
Yeah.
so yeah, that's something that like again like this is I feel like I got to take over Pueblo in order to put my stuff out there more and have a platform maybe that people can go
move
and
up
buy stuff.
north and
Right.
get the
Right.
Shopify rolling and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's not unrealistic. There are challenges with it, of course. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. Finding quality blanks, finding a shop that can handle it in a timely manner. You
Right,
don't
it's
want to
hard
wait
work.
12 weeks to get a bunch of hoodies back. You're over it by that time. You're already 3 designs ahead.
Exactly.
So having somebody to fulfill that. So if you're listening and you own a print shop and you can fulfill these orders, definitely hit us up because you have a ton of work headed your way.
Exactly.
So, I mean, a lot of people don't really understand it. So they hear the word, professional athlete, and they put it up there with like NBA, NFL. So being a professional bodybuilder, is that profitable?
No. Yeah, and not compared to your NBA star or your even your
D-League star or
right,
something.
Yeah.
no, by no means. But there is money in fitness.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I had to learn this really early. Like the internet is your friend. Social media is your friend. You're gonna get annoyed by it, and you'll often be like, why do I have to like do this stuff? You know what I mean? And yeah, it's annoying, but if you do want to make as much as you possibly can and fulfill all these different things all the goals that you have, like you have to have a presence in social media. You have to be doing things and being above the curve.
You have to be marketable.
You have to be marketable. Yeah, I mean, and I can't tell you that I actually dive into that. I'm just being me, bro. Like I have never been more comfortable, I guess, in the environment like the gym or as being a bodybuilder fashion than now, right? Because it's me. I found my calling, and so
you're comfortable in your own skin now.
I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't feel no pressure from anybody. You know what I mean? So the stuff that I do, I guess, it's just me. And if you don't like it, I guess you don't like it. But I mean, there's going to be enough people that do like what I do in order to seek my help or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I mean,
at least buy a shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, you got to bust your ass. You got to be think outside the box for sure. But especially in a town like this, and I've done it. I mean, I'm not a millionaire by no means, but I do feel like I'm going to be able to make a lot of money in this industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. What kind of advice would you sitting at the Lasting Legacy table give younger you? Let's say right around the time that you're having, you find out you're having a first kid. What advice would you give your younger self, knowing what you know now?
I would say be open-minded from the get-go. I'm a very strong believer in what I believe in, if that makes sense at all. Like
hard-headed.
Literally, my mom would say that if she was right here. But right now, and having to deal with people, right, different people, and being in different environments. You have to be open-minded, right? Like you're not always going to find someone that's like you. You're not always going to find the athlete that's like you. And so to think that, you got to figure it out, you're a dummy and you're going to lose really quick in this industry or anything. So I would say be open-minded and learn as much as you possibly can because, you could never know enough.
Absolutely. That's huge. Piggybacking off of that, instead of looking back, we're going to go ahead and look forward. What are some of your short, medium, and long-term goals, personally and within the business?
Personally, I think I want all of my clients. We're talking about personal training.
Yeah. I mean, in your personal life, we didn't really touch on it, but you did just go through an injury, and you are still actively recovering from said injury. They can follow you and dive into what we're working on with that. But gotcha. Like in your personal life, and I guess you're professional. It's kind of weird because the lines are blurred. You know what I mean? Right. So with you personally, and then you with the business, short, medium, long term.
Me personally, yeah. So like you talked about, I just injured. About 6-7 months ago, I injured my patella tendon. I ruptured it. A very devastating time in my life. But since then, reinvention has been on my mind. Like that, I don't know why I keep on getting that word, but reinvention. And so I think I'm stepping into that. Like I'm no longer bitter about the situation. I'm not crying, like saying why me. Now I'm learning from it and transitioning into growing into it. And I think I'm doing well, especially with your help and doing more things like this to put myself out there. It gave me a time to not just be the the meathead in the gym, but now I articulate myself and do a lot more different things like this. And so for me, for business, I would say that putting myself out there more. Being on these social media platforms, maybe doing something outside of the gym. Even if it pertains to health or fitness and stuff. But absolutely, I want to be able to have a presence outside the gym.
Absolutely. You do. We didn't really touch on that either. You are a coach for a pretty big football team, like organization at that point.
Yes, sir. Steel City Warriors.
That's right. So I feel like you do more than what people think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Again, like I have 3 kids. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a balance act that needs to be played there too. But for me, like I want to be able to at least explore as much as I possibly can. So I want to travel. before like the quarantine and stuff, I had plans on traveling to like different states and you know, meeting up with guys that I competed with or different people in the industry. And so I want to get back to doing that. I mean, whether it's just me, you know, creating content and just being on the road and doing
Looks
that
like I'm
stuff.
traveling.
For sure. But I mean, I would say short-term goal is for me to get back on stage. Obviously, I want to fulfill as much as I possibly can when it comes to being a bodybuilder, right? And so I mean, we talked about this before. It's like I understand now, right? And this is a really short window, you know. So I don't want to wait and try to figure out like and be the guy, you know, 10 years from now saying, oh shit, I should have done it, you know, like
Should have pushed harder.
Yeah. And this is nothing about like, you know, being better than the next person. You know, I want to be the best. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that doesn't come without work, and so I understand that, and I'm willing to do that. You know, I've done it all my life, but I feel like I have that opportunity to be able to do that, and if it's up to anybody, it's me. And so if I'm to blame if it doesn't happen as well, and I'm okay with that. So I'll work my ass to be able to do that. And so I mean, I want to be back on stage. And then obviously do as much traveling as I possibly can. For my business, I want all my clients obviously to be able to reach their goals. But on top of that, you know, I guess set myself apart. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think everybody does a great job, especially when it comes to personal training. It's a difficult job, but I mean, I want to be able to people to know, like, if they come to me, they're going to have all their needs met, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's not going to be easy, but at least you come to this program, you're going to learn the fitness side of it, but also be able to take it for the rest of your life, you know? So I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I guess you could say, but at the same time too, I want to be able to transition my business more online.
It's huge.
You know, because like you can get burnt out doing this stuff. I'm in the gym every day, and so that was my dream earlier on. I'll be in the gym all the time. Well, I don't care, but now it's like, you know, I
kind of care.
I do care. I got time is valuable. So I mean, I got growing kids and stuff like that. So I mean, there's things that I want to take care of personally for myself, but also have more time to be able to do other things. So
Absolutely.
I mean, we'll see. Tripp Fit landscaping. I mean, I don't know.
Tripp Fit accounting.
You never know. Just don't pick up a camera.
Yeah, I just don't want no limitations. But
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's all.
No, that's huge. I think the you know, the growth in the business, like we've talked about on our one of our first episodes, is, you know, at some point you kind of plateau, and it's like, how do I become more profitable? It's like either raise your rates or, you know, like increase the amount of people that come in, you know, like, because you want to always be progressing and stuff like that. So, you know, you want to take care of those who have taken care of you, you know, along this road, but, you know, you have to always be evolving and, you know, switching to online. There's a big push for it. I mean, there's personal trainers that are strictly online and they never step foot into a gym, you know, and they're 6 figures a year easily, you know, and killing it on Instagram. It's awesome, you know, that you can do something like that and build a platform.
Oh yeah. Because I love being in the gym. Like, especially personal training, like I enjoy that a lot. But I mean, too much of anything, you get, you know what I mean?
You eat ice cream every day, you're going to get sick of it eventually. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And so I'm not at that point now. Like, I'm not burnt out, even though I'm there constantly. I want to remain, you know, loving it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword for sure, you know, because you think about, you know, your busiest months and like when you're in the grind, and then you think about when you're laid up on the couch, you know what I mean? Through that whole, you know, like post-operation, you know, like all you wanted to do was be back in the grind, you know what I mean? So it's a quick way to, you know, check yourself and re-humble yourself, you know?
Yeah. Oh, bro, I didn't understand how much I actually needed the gym. You know, our clients are just, you know, different
social interaction.
Exactly. So I mean, you'd say that, right? Oh, you're a bodybuilder. You dedicate your life to this stuff, but when it's really taken away, that's when you're like, damn, I really do need the gym for much more than just fitness. You know, I mean, my kids would be like, bro, you need to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like,
I just start yelling at him for no reason. Yeah.
Like, I
Your
have
wife's
all of
like, when's that leg healing up?
Yeah,
Get out of
what's that
here.
mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
Want me to drive you there?
I had them doing like up downs and stuff.
Like, can't you just do arms? Just get out of here, bro.
Holding planks or something, you know? Dang. No, that's awesome. I can only imagine you cooped up in the house. That is an idle Jordan is not a good Jordan.
At all.
So we have a reoccurring question on the show, and it's fairly simple. You know, what do you want your lasting legacy to be? You know, moving on forward, something that outlives you.
That's a dope question.
Thank you.
That's crazy, man. I guess along the lines of what I talked about, like my philosophy when it came to personal training. I guess I want people to, when I'm long gone, at least to be like Jordan did, like to make everybody around him better, right? That was something that he strived for. Not to say I had the answers by any means, but I hope our interaction can make you at least feel better at the end of the day, no matter what that is, you know, personal training, friendship, whatever, you know. I've been in situations where people have worked with my mom, and they've came back and told me like, hey, your mom was this, your mom was that. Mm-hmm. The feeling that I got from that, you know what I mean, made me want to work harder and have a good work ethic. So I hope at least, you know, if someone runs into you, mm-hmm. you know, you can at least say like, he was a good dude and he did right by people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's absolutely huge. You know, like what other people have to say when you're not there, you know, is, you know, kind of like integrity is, you know, what you do when nobody's looking, you know, 100%. It would be, you know, that integrity that people, you know, and respect that people have for you, you know, for nothing but good things, you know. Right. So no, I think that's huge, and you do it every day. You know, whether it's the new guy signing up at the gym, you know, you're always right there. You introduce yourself, you shake their hand, you know, and it very well could not be your client. You know, like right. You very well could never speak to him again, but you know, you made sure like you make them feel welcomed, and you know, keep adding to that atmosphere that you know the gym has already built. You know,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's too easy to be an asshole. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It takes effort to be able to, you know, look somebody in the eye and introduce yourself and. Like you said, that goes a long way. Like I have to often, because my I would say my natural, I lost the word, but
personality
yeah. is kind of be a little bit. I'm say I'm outgoing, but I'm more reserved if I don't know you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people will probably say I'm quiet when they first meet me, but I'm more like reading the room, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you know I can open up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So
I mean the fact that you wear a hoodie and like a jacket constantly, you know, like he's not wearing like a V-neck or a stringer all day. You know what I mean? Like he very rarely, you know, ever shows anything, which is super weird to say. You know what I mean? For someone who stands half naked on a stage for people,
right? It's just not
to be judged. Exactly. You know,
it's just not my personality. And so I like you saying that, like I challenge myself to be able to, you know, go up to somebody and say hello to them and at least make them feel welcome, because I want them to feel that feeling when they come to the gym, how I felt.
Absolutely.
You know? And so, I mean, like a lot of the talk about right now, it's, you know, it's January, February, and, you know, the gyms are packed.
It's like packed now.
Right. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these kids a lot of the people that are in there are kids, right? The high school kids. Yeah. Young kids. And so it's easy to look at the 7 high school kids that are doing bench press for an hour and be pissed at them. Mm-hmm. But you can draw yourself back and be like, damn, that was me. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? And if the big dude in the gym yelled at me, I don't know if I would be a bodybuilder now.
No,
right?
Of course, absolutely.
And so I mean, don't get me wrong. I've popped off on kids every so often because they needed it, and I think it's like you got to understand gym etiquette and all the different stuff that goes on, especially in that gym. But
it's a little bit different.
You gotta learn somehow.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I at least want to make that experience good, so I can change my approach with these people, and whether they're going to be my client or not. But I remember the big guys in the gym. You know what I mean? And they may have never even spoke my name before, but I
know who they
I
are.
know who they are, and so I know these people are watching. And so understanding that like I'm an example, or people are watching me, even if we don't make eye contact, if I know who they are, I keep that in the back of my head.
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for putting aside time to come on. I know it's been a long time coming for sure. We've been wanting you on. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for listening to the Lasting Legacy podcast. We drop new podcasts every week wherever you get your podcasts. Good night.